guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
From the shores of the Federation of St. Christopher Nevis, what I call my double slice of paradise, and from the studios of WinnFm on the FM dial 98.9 on the FM dial, we want to say to you once and all across the board, good morning and welcome to another presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates, the host of today's program, and we got 2 hours of chit-chat. I want to say good morning to all the fan base. I'm going to call you out in a while individually. Well, welcome to another presentation of Voices. Don't have any set topic today, but I feel we're going to get very much engaged in quite a few things that I'm going to bring up. First, I'd like to start with the reaction from the first Calypso tent that was launched on Saturday evening as Spratnet. Very large turnouts, and the tent featured roughly 25 Calypsonians. For those who didn't get there early, you would have found yourself parking all the way easterly along the Old Road Bay. Folks came out, and I felt that there was a hunger for Calypsos that would deal with the many issues that's been, at the forefront of many conversations. And I kind of sense the disappointment in people's reaction, or by people's reaction. But I must say that they fielded about 25 Calypsonians, which was half of what I'm told is will be featured in the tents. There now is only one Calypso tent, so the Proud Sound Calypso tent now have to contend with all of the Calypsonians, and it will be very difficult and challenging to feature more than 25 or all at the same time. They started roughly about 8:20, and they were done by, say, 12:15. Packed house. And there were a variety of topics, but I want to say that with the exception of Godfrey, the mighty Godfrey out of Keon, the I Soursop, Green Tea, and Dwighty. Well, of course, the unexpected try thing. He bought a song called He Can't Wait for the Smart Hospital. So the potential for humor, but of course when he sings, sometimes he lacks development. But it was topical. Dwighty did a song saying that he called it the Calypsonian in me. He's saying that he's a strong Labour supporter and he don't want to critique his government, but it's the Calypsonian in him that was doing so. So he had a political commentary from Dwighty. Green Tea, who resides in the US and over the past 3 years, I think, has been at home to make his contribution in the Calypso tent to the overall development of Carnival. He also had a political commentary, saying he wants to get a doctor to check his ears because he's not really sure or happy with what he's hearing. So he wants to check his ears. A lot of folks like himself live out there in the US and in Europe, other parts of the world, and they get snippets of what's happening on the ground. So he's not happy or satisfied or really sure of what he's hearing, so he wants a doctor to check his ear. That was the tone of his political commentary. The I Soursop is back. He said for the past 3 years he's been absent, and he's been challenged by the public about not making a contribution And if you do so, he may be victimized or blah, 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 blah. But he had to make a comeback because he don't like what is happening in his country. That was the title of his song, My Country. And he covered quite over the issues affecting the population at large. So the Ice House up is back with a political commentary. So we had Godfrey, Ice House up, Green Tea, Dwight Tea, and the unexpected. I myself appeared, but I didn't get into that as yet. But not to worry. You'll be well served when the time presents itself. So, as I said, it was the first half, I would say the first half of the slate of Calypsonians. They featured 25 Calypsonians, and most of them sang, we had a social commentary from the Apple Cider. The young man who has the fleet of boats, that was Water Taxi. I'm told he's very popular on the karaoke circuit. He did take part last year during the Culturama festivities. He sang as a Calypsonian, and now he's doing a song, I forget the title, but it's about integration, how we react to persons from other parts of the Caribbean, how we treat them when they're here. So good social commentary. And so the former queen, she was declaring war. She says there's war in Calypso. And call a few names from yesteryear and how there's a format. So she would have been defeated last year. And now she says a war, so I guess she's going to come back as strong as she can. So yeah, we had a good night, a good turnout, very, very good turnout at the first tent. And it was mentioned that midweek they will inform the public as to when the next tent will be opening. I suspect it's going to be on Saturday or Sunday. Okay? So by now, the folks normally log on for voices. There's been a change in the US. We have the whole daylight saving time issue. And so folks normally log on at a certain time. They missed the first hour last week. So I believe I know Rosemary Donald. She logs on. She's from Trinidad. I call her friend of the Federation. She was a person who was donating to St. Kitts and Nevis, wheelchairs and walkers and, stuff for elder, differently able people, because she works in healthcare. So she's that person. There's Amber Lewis over in Anguilla. Let me know she don't log on already, but she's not hearing anything. I said, Amber, the ads have been run. So after the ads, there's Brenda O'Neill, there's Jennifer Richards up in New York. They log on and they keep abreast. We have a caller. Okay, we go to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Grand rising to you, the king.
Voice I've known for some time.
To the listeners.
Welcome to the program, sir.
Now, the king, I don't want to divert from what you're putting out there, but permit me to make a follow-up from my last presentation on Friday.
Certainly.
Yeah. May I ask if Quint is still in the studio?
He is the man on the box.
Okay. Grand rising to you, Quint, and to the listening public. Now, the king, I want to share something as I am on my journey.
That's your name,
connecting to the laws of nature. I want to state this to the listening public, and I want them to follow and just wrap their head around what I'm about to say. Now, I stated last week that our existence as African did not start with slavery or colonization. Our existence started with queendom and kingdom on the continent of Africa. Now follow me, the king. Last week we were talking about laws, maritime laws, laws of man. Well, I want to bring to the listening public the laws of nature, the laws of the universe. Before there was the Bible, there were balance with the elements. Before there were churches, there were pyramids. They told us God was in the sky, but our ancestors knew God is in everything. Before religion divided the world, nature united it through her sacred laws. The 5 elements, earth, air, water, fire, Spirit. And if I may go further, I would say the SUN, our risen Savior, the light of the world. Now, when these elements combine, the thread that connect all, it is the divine essence of every stone, tree, river, and human being. When spirits flow through the elements, there is harmony. When these forces align, man becomes divine. Our ancestors did not worship nature. They communed with it. They knew that to destroy nature is to destroy oneself. Now, the thing,
Listening.
I want our people to understand the level of brainwashing that we encounter as a collective. The final stage of colonization is when faith is when a victim begins to defend the abuser. The chain has been moved from our wrist and it's now on our mind. Follow me, Queen. Colonization no longer need to whip us because we police ourselves now. The psychological incest between victim and violator is when we keep sending our children to the same system that raped our ancestors, expecting different results. This is not me as Journey. Last week I was told, and Queen can recall, a caller from the States said that I am blinded. I'm neither blinded, nor bitter, nor angry. Now, my passion for our people to unite, I'm going to state this about passion. And I'm going to give reference to a gentleman in the scripture who was named Saul, and he became Paul. Well, passion never killed anyone coming from Journey. But we were told in the scripture, Saul was zealous of the law. But Saul gave consent to the unaliving of those he claimed were going against the law. Which law was it? Maritime law. Maritime law. So my passion is for my people first, the king. We have to be restored. We have to be redeemed. And me hearing my voice on this platform, it is not out of bitterness, hatred, or me being blinded. I am detoxing myself from the misery that was imposed upon generation, the trauma that was imposed on my generation before me. Let me repeat this. I am detoxing myself from generation of indoctrination, because if the church write the syllabus and they control the language, then my question is, if the God of the Bible created the universe, what is his agenda with Africans? And this is why Journey say the God of the Bible is not the creator of the universe. The God of the Bible is the writers themselves. And as they tell us, their action is justified in their literature, their psychology, their theology. A God that kills, a God that ordered to kill. In the actions of the very writers themselves.
Okay, for me, not to interrupt you, but I do for station break in about a minute, so see if we can get your point, please.
Okay, the King, I'm going to finish up now. All I'm saying to us, let us pontificate on the writers and their literature, their theology, because the laws of nature, it is balanced. You go against it, you go against yourself. You add or take away to it, it is for your own detriment.
You just say pontificate?
I am neither bitter, I am neither angry, and there is no hate for other race. I am talking to my people who were traumatized, colonize, and enslave through genocide, atrocity, of the unaliving of my ancestors, to whom I am now connected to.
I support and
Thank you for
appreciate
giving
your
me the
stand. Do appreciate that. Thank you so very much, and thanks for calling. We now take it to Quentin, who will take us to give a little credit to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Okay, we now hear from Rosemary Donalds that you just tuned in. So once again, good morning. I sort of presented you as a friend of the Federation. We talk more about that in a minute. So yeah, we had a first caller. And you, Rosemary, you like to hear Journey. You missed him, so he may call back and make another contribution. So let me get off the whole Calypso thing for a minute. I want to thank Mr. Val Monish and all the other diehard Calypso fans who turned out to show the support for the Calypsonians. As I said, that was the first slate, so stay tuned as to when the next tent will be kicking off. Yeah. All right, and we go straight back to the phone lines. We're going to call you live on Voices.
Hey, good morning, good morning.
God bless. My ears are here you now. How are you doing?
I say, come to going back to the motherland.
I'm not going to be...
How could you go and leave Johnny behind?
No. I've been here, man. I'm here. I haven't gone and left Johnny at all. We're on the same page.
My good friend Johnny.
We're on the same page. Go ahead.
Now, I was wondering about you and your Calypso tent. What happened to it?
I shut down Legends Calypso tent for reasons. We can put it in a nutshell. The dance cannot pay for the lights. So after 24 years, 24 years, this would have been the 25th year of making that contribution. I decided, the work is a bit too much for me. Not only was I the founder, the manager, and all that, and when I put the tent together, I did not want to be the management. I didn't want to be the band leader. I gave those positions to two other persons because as a competing Calypsonian, you understand? But I had to end up taking over the running of the whole thing. And after 24 years, beating the pavement, going to sponsors, putting things together, etc., sometimes you don't feel appreciated. You do it because you love it. As King Francis said to me, he don't love it as much as me. But after a while...
Because I was saying to myself, what happened to all of those top singers you have who usually make it into the semi-final and finals?
Well, you have to consider... When you are the only person in the boat who's rowing, you're the only person rowing. It's very, very difficult. So I want to thank, which I wrote to them, specifically all the band musicians who made that possible over the many years. The sponsors, it's a whole teamwork, but it's one person who has to take point. And, maybe I'm getting too old for that.
Well, was it possible for the association to hire both bands? They could alternate,
Which association?
The Carnival Association, the Calypso Association.
It used to be an arrangement where both bands took on all the work. We shared it equally. Somewhere way along the line, that changed. And you can only beg so much. And when you get the impression that you're undervalued, you step back, because who am I helping? Is the entire product Carnival, the Calypsonians. But when you're going to make sure that certain things don't work, you're sharing equally, well...
What have you done to labor?
I think beyond the politics of it, but because I'm known.
Yeah, because really.
I'm known. They know my politics.
Some people feel like they're bound to repeat.
Yeah, they know my politics, but in terms of the carnival
go
product. Go ahead,
sorry.
sorry. It's your
Before
call.
we go further into that.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Rosemary, and all the other listeners, home and abroad.
She loved that.
All of us. It's interesting that the hurricane passed. People in Haiti, I think it's 20-something.
Now you're talking my language.
Eh?
Now you're talking my language.
And people in Cuba.
Go ahead.
And when we are talking about it, we tend to overlook Cuba, because in the case of Haiti, you have these guns. So I don't know how you would have been able to get in really supplies, you understand, unless you were going in with armed force. But the people of Cuba, because after Jamaica just have Cuba,
That's correct.
so people are making donations. What are we going to do about Cuba?
I would think that the relevant authorities would have made some arrangement because of the relationship with the whole region, right? But that special relation that we have with Cuba, our students over there, the history of the two countries working together, I think that something would be in place.
Because I haven't heard it.
I heard about Jamaica, and I understand that. I complained we're not getting anything about Haiti. That's why I say we're on the same page. When you try to search
Haiti and
about,
Cuba.
when you search, I know Cuba got a cat 4, I spoke about it last week. But when you try to search about damage to Haiti, all you get is Jamaica. You understand? So that was one of my concerns.
My heart goes out to the Jamaicans, because I studied in Jamaica. I like Jamaica. But when I hear the devastation in some of the places,
Yes, it's widespread.
and the recommendation that they resettle some people, I say, you know what people can see today?
It has to be done.
Yeah, 'cause even I listen to the RJ 64, that is really Jamaica, and Power 106, which is also another Jamaica station. Some of them refuse, before the hurricane thing, they say, they must move. They move in. One lady stand the radio. I ain't going to leave me place because next thing I'm going to come back, nothing there.
Well, in some cases, that proved to be true.
But that's a human kind of reaction, but you got to fight it.
Naturally, yeah.
So as much as people, we talk about God and whatever, and people give warning, you always are coming the same thing, you got the wrong God and the white God and the blue God and the sun God. And I mean, really, you said escape with your life. The other day, my good friend asked me, what about Lot's wife? You here leave. Leave, because what's going to happen? Destruction, she want to make sure.
As I said, it's a human reaction, and it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again.
Black ribbons, so some of the places, but again, people, no matter what you say, you give warning, they got some excuse. Somebody want to fool them, and the hurricane, they say hurricane coming and he ain't gonna come, because it was heading for Kingston,
Wow. But that happened here during Hugo.
Mm-hmm.
That happened here during Hugo. People say, "But we hear about hurricane all the time, nothing coming."
and they make me waste my money.
Yes, it happened here. But the years after, people started
you
boarding
buy
up in
stuff
time.
that can be eaten. You don't. They didn't say go open everything one day.
Mm.
And if we don't take warning, everybody got something to say. My good friend Johnny got something to say, and a lot of us.
Mm.
Oh, they come and the colonizers and everybody. Warning is warning, because the Bible now says the place going to be burning up with heat. Ain't nothing new. The Bible says it. Whether you want to believe it or not. Say it, take warning. So my heart goes out to the people. A lot of them, you hear in, I think it's Mandeville or Manchester. The water levels are reaching up into the people's homes. Eh?
I've seen quite a few clips of various footage about the damage and the reaction from the public at large, and it's, as you said, devastating. But at the same time, we've sort of gone immune to what's happening in Haiti.
But that's what
The
I'm
hurricane
talking
hit
about.
Cuba as a Cat 4, as a Cat 2, Category 2. It hit Jamaica as a Cat 5. But it was somewhere between 3 and 4 when it hit Haiti. So the damage is substantial.
What happened to the media in Haiti?
I don't know, but if you're
Yeah,
covering,
some of
if
them
you're covering
did.
the region,
And the Haitians should have the report
if you're
to
covering
give to the world.
yeah,
But the problem of getting relief supplies in there, that is a real problem.
it is.
Now, let me say something else. I'm going to come off now. Whenever I say that black people, Africans, soul Africans, someone get all upset. Which is a fact.
I know because it's happening in Nevis right now.
That's where we're heading. That is just where we're heading.
It's happening in Nevis right now.
That is just where I am heading. We like to glorify. Oh, the Africans, they will never do that. When you have black people in leadership position who fail because they understand it, then they're dummy. The psychological effect.
They fail to understand or
Demographic
appreciate the
effect.
lessons of history.
But we like to deny it and we glorify, oh, African with our culture and them kind of foolishness. They're human beings. Greed. So you don't care what happened today, what happened to your people. If you're so sure, you're old enough, because you're nearly old like me.
Sure. And I appreciate that too.
Yeah, look, age is pride, you know. The Bible says when you have wisdom and your age, then you...
Sister Henry, I
if you're older and you
appreciate
ain't got no
it.
wisdom, then you're in trouble.
I appreciate
No.
my age and the blessing that comes with it.
I do. I give God thanks every day. And for the amount of memory I have left. They say with a hand calculated, you can calculate the impact on the population. All of them comes, oh, you're going to get jobs.
I would like,
are going
if
to
possible,
get
let me make a suggestion, please. Okay? I would like for you to call back where we can really pay some attention to that. Because we're about to take a next break, right?
If I get it.
We
If I
need
get
to,
it.
we're not at the end. Well, let me just say this before. This takes some attention, right? It takes some focusing. So get a chance and call back. Let's discuss that in some more detail, okay? Would
All
really,
right,
really
then.
appreciate that.
But think about it. Here you have African selling African again.
It's happening in Nevis right now, so I agree with you.
That's what saying it's too.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. Are we do for next station break at the moment? We have a little time. Okay. Yeah, because I was checking like every 15 minutes. And we had that time, so go ahead.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Rhymes the good food people always there to serve you. Rhymes the good food people locations right near you. Rhymes the good food people in store specials for you. Rhymes the good food people. When you need better service, Rhymes is always here. Better value, better prices. Rhymes is always here. You want your loyalty. Rhymes is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Okay, okay, we go straight to the phone lines. Welcome to Voices. Good to call you live on Voices.
Good day, Socrates.
How are you, sir?
Blessed in Jesus' name and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's
You
name,
live and
the only
kicking?
Savior of sinners. Hello?
Could you just say,
Yeah,
I'm alive and kicking?
Amen, amen. And I'd like to say, greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners, from their sins and from hell through faith only, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. And as I've said, as I just say, we need to become a republic and get to the British Commonwealth, and the quicker the better, I believe. No,
Amen to you.
First of all, I'm going to say something. I hope Quint is able to hear me. If he ain't, you could
He
relay
can
the
hear you
message
live
to him.
live and direct. Go ahead.
Yes, about 3 minutes or so ago, the car gone in my area. So, Quint, yeah, I just wanted to pass on that message because sometimes it may affect the transmitter. It may or may not affect the transmitter. It depends on how wide the area, the outage is.
Did you get his response?
No, not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Okay, he said it always affects us.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted him to know. About 3 minutes or so ago, current just gone. So, anyhow, that's number one. Number two, as I've said this morning during the prior program, Island Tea with Quint, and I'm going to repeat it again. We get the government we deserve. And the Bible promises that. The Bible says in Psalms 75 verse 7 and in Daniel chapter 2 verse 21, God is the one who puts up government, kings, you name it, and he's the one who brings them down.
Whether the people deserve it or not?
Hello?
Whether the people deserve it or not?
And
you see your points.
If the people are disobedient to his word, he's going to give them a government.
So it's
then
it's preordained then?
Yeah, yes, everything is preordained. And if, because the Bible says everything is from, of, and for God in Romans chapter 11, verse 36. So when the people are disobedient to the word of God, which we are, God promises such people like us that he's going to give us governments for our destruction as part of his judgment on us. And if a people are obedient to his word, they biblically repent and obeying his word, he's going to give them government for their prosperity, for their thriving, to his glory.
So are you saying that the government we have currently, that the people will be subjected to destruction, etc., because what?
All of them from the past and in the present as well. God has given us these governments for our undoing, for our destruction, and so on, because we are too disobedient to the word of God. And that is why we are groaning and complaining so much, because we are getting the governments that we deserve.
But at one point, you say our expectations are high. We expect this and that from the government. They can't fund all these things based on tax base. So that's why some people complain and go on some time. But now you're saying it's because it was preordained by God.
Yeah, for our destruction point. Because you see, the Bible says when the wicked rule, the people mourn. That I think is in Psalms. When the government rule, when the evil rule, the people mourn. And when the righteous rule, the people are happy.
Okay. Can you pinpoint a time in recent history, or even further on, when we had a righteous government? So in this country across the region?
No, we never have. And that is why people has been always complaining and moaning and this sort of stuff under our government. Always wishing for the right government, but never getting it.
If we go now to be a republic, will that change?
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
So
not
why change it?
But what I'm saying with the republic now, if you have a good government, okay, you have more latitude to do what is right where the Bible is concerned. You see, because if you're under the monarchy of England, the monarchy, you do something of that sort of stuff, the monarchy might want to intervene. You see, people don't say it is ceremonial. It is ceremonial and so until when they decide to intervene. You see, for example, if the government right now want to pass a law, they have to get
that signature.
The signature from the representative of the monarchy in England. But if the Governor General decide, no, me ain't going to sign it, and the monarchy agree with the Governor General, what you could do about it? You can't do nothing about it.
Our constitution is drafted based on, it's a shadow, a mirror of the parliamentary procedure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if the monarchy say, hey, I agree with my Governor General, I ain't going to go against my Governor General, why you want to come la can't come la?
Okay.
If he refused to sign it.
So you favor a republic?
I favor a republic because if you have a good government, it gives you more latitude.
Did our current Prime Minister promise that to us?
If he promised it, when they was in opposition, they were talking about it. But now they get in government and...
I thought he mentioned it. I thought he mentioned it shortly after his inauguration. That he's going to advocate for the republic.
Yes, he have mentioned it while in government. But to me, that was just a shallow, hollow talk, because look at it. They just not too long ago put in the Marcella Libod, okay? You think they're going to want to make sure the shortest Governor General ever?
But in the meantime, you must have all the functionality of government. This may take some time to get to that stage where we can declare ourselves a republic, but in the meantime, the structure has to be in place.
Well, I don't see anything. I don't see any structure. I don't see any structural change need to be made to become a republic.
Until then, because you have to look at the Constitution. There have to be some changes in the Constitution to reflect the incoming state of government.
Well, whatever needs to be done, the quicker the better.
Because if that happens, they won't get power outage that.
I don't think that got anything to do with it. I don't think that got anything to do with it.
Okay.
What I'm saying, I'll come down to, I believe the quicker the better, and the better in this sense that you got more latitude to do whatever. If you have a good government.
How would that affect an undertaking like what you're trying to put in Nevis, if we were a republic?
No.
The destiny thing.
Well, I don't think it gonna matter one way or the other. It would only affect. For example, it would only affect if you want to make something like you don't have that Damocles sword over your head. That if the Governor General refused to sign it, and the monarchy back up its representative,
gotcha,
that you can't get that line passed. That's the only thing that I see would really be affected by that.
Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily government putting in infrastructures and all. No, that ain't got nothing to do with it. It just has to do with the making a law.
Okay.
So that is one thing I want to say. And let me say quickly, so by the way, and I believe really and truly there's no need for the making of laws because I believe the Bible is our true constitution and true supreme law of the land.
That should be the template.
The Bible is the law and the Constitution.
So then, shall we go back to
I think it's more than a template. It's more than a template. It is our only true law and true Constitution of the whole of God's creation.
So then, would we then go back to the Old Testament law, where you stone people to death, eye for eye kind of thing? Because that's a template.
as far as where it is, applicable to us today. For example, we will go back to.
You're not supposed to change it.
Yeah. For example, we would go back to if a person murder a person, the person would lose their life. Based upon 2 or 3 witnesses. We will go back to that. And the eye for eye and the tooth for tooth simply mean that the punishment is to equal the crime. It ain't supposed to be less than the crime, and it ain't supposed to be more than the crime.
Well, suppose upon not having a teeth, what happened?
No. You in those cases, for example, if somebody steal from you, okay?
Yeah.
If somebody steal from you, they recompense you twice of what they stole from you.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
We're just messing with you.
Yeah, if a person damage you physically, they're supposed to financially reward you.
What happened to the day of grace then?
The day of grace is for salvation. We are saved by grace and not by works. That ain't got nothing to do with the workings of the civil courts.
The day of grace have nothing to do with eye for eye and tooth for tooth, right?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Gregory, have a nice one.
The day of grace have to do with how you are saved from your sin and from hell. That's what the day of grace has to do with. How you are saved from your sin and from hell. Through grace and not by works. Okay. That is the day of grace. How you are saved from your sin and from hell. The tooth for tooth and eye for eye is how crime is supposed to be punished, civilly speaking, in the courts of man.
Okay.
2 different things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I also want to say that also as well, where churches are concerned as well, these terrible, horrible, worthless, vagabond pastors that we have, a lot of them, people get the pastors, the preachers, ministers, and so on, that they deserve as well. And the destruction and perverting of society start with the church, because judgment must first start at the house of God, and it is the church that the Bible says is the salt of the earth and the light of the world.
Okay.
And if that darkens, society is ruined.
Okay, Gregory, you have been heard on Voices. Once again, thank you for your contribution. Okay.
Thank you too. Thank you.
I want to make a little remark on a remark I heard that Mark Brantley made over the weekend. He was talking about the reaction of the people, talking about white people coming to the country and this and that, and how we as a black people left St. Kitts and Nevis and went to America, a white country, and this and that. And I think there are 2 different things, 2 different situations, 2 different dynamics. They're not the same, right? We are 9 years away from the observing of the 200th anniversary of the Emancipation Declaration. And here one thing is that the declaration was read up at what was the Golden Rock Estate, which later became the Golden Rock Airport before the name was changed to the current name. And so let's look at the Windrush generation. And by that I mean, for example, the folks who left the region, St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua, Jamaica, Barbados, and went to England, London specifically, because there was this big demand for labor to help to rebuild the country after Hitler had bombarded London around early 40s, mid 40s, And so there was this need for labor. So this mass migration of our people who went up there, it wasn't that we just wanted to go to a white country. As a matter of fact, coming out of emancipation, we were people left destitute, desolate, to fend for ourselves without proper education, and we were exposed to all forms of exploitation. But over the years, in fighting to regain our dignity, we didn't have to fight and we had dignity that was taken away from us, so we had to fight to regain our dignity, rebuild a family, acquire property, and I mentioned before, a Nevis, which was a peasantry. The workers, they were able to acquire land in a different manner than here in St. Kitts because they worked the lands for the landowners and they gave them a percentage of what they yielded. Here in St. Kitts, we had a plantocracy, and of course, they kept the land. So the Nevisians were able to acquire land, which gave them a sense of pride. So when you map back and you say, well, some of these people had land in the family for years, hundreds of years, it took them hundreds of years to be able to get to the point to afford land. And so when people react in many ways, and you're saying, well, they're talking about white people coming here, and we go to America, a white country, the rationale makes no sense. We traveled, we migrated to create better economic situation for families. This is different. This is reversing it. 9 years. 9 years before the 200th anniversary of being emancipated throughout the British colonies, because in other parts of the world it was different. We heard about the 4 years of planned indenture and all kind of stuff. But we had to struggle to get where we are. So to open the doors and invite people in and saying that our action, we overreacting to this and that, you're talking nonsense. Two different things. You are creating, you are facilitating apartheid. Let me go to the phone lines. Good to call 11 Voices.
Sakoti, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
And good morning to the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Solid.
Sakoti,
Yes, sir.
I just hear you say something, but you got to correct it and be very careful how you're talking. Remember Nevis people, the workers in Nevis ain't reclaim no land. It's a man named Robert Bratcher secure the estate them. That is why they're independent. They have land. You hear them all? He ain't look after St. Kitts. He went Nevis. He didn't picking and choosing to do these things. He was securing poor people in Nevis, future children, and looking out for us as well. In the Buckley's Wyatt. So let me put it over properly. Sakoti.
Yes, sir.
I walk to the circus and I see a dilemma down there. Politics can't stop talk down there by the tree where they cut down. Politics born right there. Cecil, Moonlight, here come Roberts and Bowsing Clement Williams. They cannot stop it. So they're going to hear us talk and respect us. All of them. It surprised me when they're out of politics. They come down there like dogs. And when they're in government, they want to come and say the plane. We're going back down, especially Jam down, I'm not going to back down in this country. Thank God Jenny born me here. Because me ain't going to work on to short. I going to die in this land. Nobody going to run me from where me come from. Have a good morning, Secretary.
Thank you very much.
Boat down there by the welcome hall. Where that for? That's the money where they want to pick up from Mayo for the tourists. He's watching. The quarter conscience is watching. Have a good morning, Quinn.
Mr. Manners, thank you very much. Well, let me clarify something, and I hope you're listening. Mr. Bratcher didn't have to go to Nevis to represent anybody and reclaim land from the planters. It's totally wrong. There was a plantocracy on St. Kitts where the planters held all the land. That was the land that the honorable gentleman fought to reclaim. On Nevis, as I said before, there was a peasantry where the workers worked for the establishment, the landowners, and they would give to these landowners a percentage of what they were able to, from the cotton fields, etc. And so that is how Nevisians were able to acquire land. It was totally different here in St. Kitts. So Mr. Bratcher had no need to go to Nevis to secure land for the population. This can be researched and documented. Two different things. We take a next call. Good day, call 11 Voices.
Good day. Peace to you, sir. How are you doing? And peace to our nation.
God my blessing. Thank you very much.
I bring peace from constituency number 7. What I just called for is that there's a lot of things happening in our country that are negative, some positive, some good, some bad. One of the good things is that a lot of us have life. Even if in a hospital bed, we still have life.
Most certainly.
We have to give God that. And one of these things I call for is that people are calling for a lot of change and a lot of things. I just want to remind them. the best party to bring the positive change we want, to bring the economic development and the advancement of this nation we want, is the People's Action Movement. And I'm saying, come the next election, I want the people of this nation, especially in St. Kitts, because only in St. Kitts could vote for PAM, to give PAM candidates that opportunity to take our country back into a positive road of development and advancement for our people. We have so many things, the SSD, the museum that they're going to build, so much things that concern people, and PAM have the answer. I must then say right now that come the 13th of this month, the people in Ashmore will have a town hall meeting in OJ's building.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock. So anybody who come, ask questions, and listen to what the political leader and the team, because the topic will be the SSSD. So they could come, listen, ask questions, and give comments, and they will get the perspective from PAM. However, I heard my friend mention something about the Governor General. I would just want to remind our people, St. Kitts and Nevis is 100% independent. The British government has nothing to do with us. The only thing we have in common is that we share a head of state. Just like Canada, you see Canada making an noise saying the king could do this, the king could do that? No. Just like Australia, you hear them making noise like that? No. Just like New Zealand, you hear them making noise? No. What I'm saying, we are 100% independent. I don't know if you remember.
As a member of the British Commonwealth, King Charles is the head of the Commonwealth.
But he cannot make decisions for a nation.
No, we have a head of state. The GG, the head of state.
No, let me finish. Not even in the UK where he is king. He is to be out of politics, and that is what I want our people to understand. Do not just get confused because he's head of state. He cannot make any decision for our country. There was a time, and it does happen. If the Governor General failed to do things based on what the executive, who his cabinet say, they could just go to Parliament and remove him or her. That is where the power lies. The power lies in Parliament.
Saying the power lies in Parliament. That's what you're saying. So there's a Prime
And
Minister.
in the hands of no, Parliament gives power to whom it thinks. Right? Also, it gives power to the Prime Minister. Because the Prime Minister cannot get power unless he go inside there at the house there, the Prime Minister shall or must or whatever. Parliament has the power. The Parliament could take back some of the power from the Prime Minister. And with that said, I must say, even in the UK where that is, a lot of those things are happening where Parliament is taking back the power from the Prime Minister because they're saying one man shouldn't have so much power. I don't know if you remember when our visa for travel to Canada was expired, when they did done away with it. Shortly after the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in Nevis and he made a comment. But when he reached back Canada, Parliament disciplined him and said, who authorized you to make such statement that you could reinstate visa for travel?
We understand that that's construct. But I will not go with it that we are 100% independent. We're not.
Trust me, my friend.
There's something called interdependence, even amongst the region.
Neither the British government or King Charles could come down here and make any decision for us. That is what we must have to understand. No.
Caller, why then did Kennedy Simmons, when the Governor General at the time refused to sign off, why did he then approach the Queen and then
requested dissemination?
Yes. Why?
He is the representative.
We were not yet independent.
But the power to remove,
we were not yet.
If the king, now the king refused to accept somebody, as a matter of fact, it is almost go without saying. Whoever the Prime Minister or the cabinet select will be accepted.
But
what I would say though, if we move from parliamentary monarch system to republic, I will prefer our nation have an executive president, meaning that president must be elected by the people and not appointed, because if it's appointed, we go right back where we started, back by a governor general. So the president should be somebody who is elected by the people, and that means even any one of you who there right now could decide you want to be president, because you wouldn't have to be aligned to the party.
But caller, I still
you have to get the support from the people of both St. Kitts and Nevis to become president.
Caller, I still have a problem, because unless what happens if it's tested then that I like what you just said about the governor being appointed. But what if it's tested that the governor general presently, as she represents, does not want to sign off on something? What happens then?
If you check the Constitution lays out everything. So I would just like to live right there. The Constitution.
Carla, you see,
He's making a valid point.
I hate these vague. I hate these vague things. I ask you a point blank question.
I'm sending you to the authority and this thing.
But I don't know. But I don't know. The Constitution can be interpreted in many different ways. So I am saying.
The Constitution is clear.
So
because my interpretation and your interpretation might be different. But
that's what I'm saying.
The Constitution is what they said. The Constitution is not my opinion, your opinion, anybody else's opinion doesn't matter when it comes to the Constitution. The Constitution is what it is.
What I am saying, it's easy for you to say, but next thing when something happens and you hear constitutional lawyers coming and defending one point or another, so you can always say what you want to say. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I am saying. I am saying it is better for us to move away with this individual who represents someone where she has to sign off on things that in my mind, there's a question as to the validity if she does not sign off on things. Why then is she there to sign off? Not that I, mind you, get this clear, not that I have anything against the Governor General, but I'm speaking in terms of a technicality and the technical issue of whether or not, let's say for a hypothetical, not her, but some other Governor General decide, I'm not going to sign off on that. Won't we then have to go to constitutional lawyers to determine the validity of her signature?
No. The Constitution already sets the tone, and that's what I'm saying. The Constitution give guidance as well. What I'm saying, even when we have an elected president, he or she still our laws must be signed by the person before they come law as well.
Yes, but that individual then, that individual then, but Carla, what you're saying doesn't hold any credence, because that individual you're speaking about as a governor is not beholden to anyone but us. That person would then have been elected by us, the people. But this individual, as she stands now, or any other individual hypothetically, is signing off on things that the government wants to do. Why? What is the relevance of it?
No, and that's what I'm saying, because the person is the head of state. And I just point out to you, but let me finish.
So then that's a question.
If you let me finish, you will get what I'm saying. Even when we have an elected president or appointed president, it's the same procedure. The person must sign things into law, because
you see, Mr. Socrates, he's not understanding what I'm saying.
Then be a republic. What Quint is asking you to clarify, you say that we're wholly independent, but the current head of state, if Parliament come together and want to pass certain legislation, until she signs off on it, nothing happens. So if we were totally independent of the crown, as you're saying, there would be no need for her to have to sign on to ratify anything.
But what I'm saying, when we do that, the head of state still must sign it.
Yes, that's then we understand that.
Let me finish.
Look,
and
this is the problem I have with people who are in positions of authority.
Sir, please let me finish. You asked me a question. I'm trying to clarify something. I have no problems when I go off you make your point. But if we're going back and forth, it seems as if you're arguing. I'm not into arguing.
I'm not arguing, but you're repeating the same thing.
No. Listen. There's a clarity, and that's the way I said go to the Constitution. But what I want people to know, whether we have a constitutional monarch or we have a president, somebody still must sign what Parliament says.
We accept that. We're not arguing about that.
The issue is, when you say that we are totally independent, we are not, because until the Honourable Governor General signed off on anything that Parliament recommends, is dead.
And Carla,
So you're dependent
and
on
Carla,
the
here,
crown
Let me
representative.
ask a question. Let me ask a question. Do you know is the same thing for Trinidad because Trinidad have a president? Do you know is the same thing for Guyana? I mean,
We have
for
no problem
Barbados
with
because
that.
Barbados
he's
is a
not,
president. Do you know
he's
is the same
not
thing for the
getting the
Commonwealth of
question.
We
Dominica because they have a
accept
because
that,
they have
but
a
you're not.
president?
Carla,
Fair enough?
let me make it clear to you then. Let me make it clear to you because you don't get it. Here's the thing. If we have a governor, the governor would have had to been elected by we the people. That governor would represent we the people. He is the head of state and he represents us the people, not a crown from somewhere else. The present Governor General is our head of state and she represents by her
Appointed
signature
by-
someone else. That is what we are saying.
She was recommended and appointed by King Charles or Queen.
Yes. So what we are saying,
Well, what
since
I'm
she is the head of state and her signature represents someone external to us, we can't say that we're fully independent.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but
Finally,
when you have to look at it, what I want our people to understand, and even you, neither the British government nor the king could direct us to do anything. And by that said, that means you are fully independent. Only as you want to say that procedure or process, we just have one head of state. And I just want us to believe, just check with Canada. The British Prime Minister cannot go over there and tell them anything. Don't look at our side. They cannot tell them, do this and do that. They're out of place. That's why we have elected our government.
we
They can
accept
go to
that
the British Virgin
also.
Islands. They can go to Anguilla.
Like Canada, Pell, like Canada, we observe the same status. Like
Do you know
India.
our constitution are basically identical?
That's what I'm saying.
Canada and our constitution?
Hear this caller. Hear this caller.
Yes,
This
sir.
is what me and Socrates have been saying, hypothetically. Let's suppose that the Governor General, maybe not this one, but let's suppose we still have a
wouldn't be
governor.
long.
Listen to me. Let's suppose that we still have a Governor General who represents the king, right? In the future, I'm not going to use this one. Let's say in the future we still have a Governor General who represents the king, and that individual, I'm hypothetically speaking, decides they will not sign off on laws that want to be passed. What do we then do?
You could remove the Governor General.
But you have to write to the monarchy
That's what I'm saying.
to get that
no.
permission. You can't just.
No. No. There's a difference between permission and informing them what they're going to be doing.
What does it mean?
Complete difference.
Technically the same thing.
Yeah, but why do we have to
They
inform
will
them?
be because they tell the Governor General, we're going to let this person be your representative in Kingston. And if they're going to remove them, we're going to remove this person.
But Carla, if we are truly independent, why go through all of that nonsense then?
And they would have to sign off on the
Yes.
incoming.
That's what
appointee.
that's what we're saying. So what we want for clarity and that we don't have this question that might pop up in the future, we want down the line that you either become a republic, but mind you, I'm not saying a republic is a panacea and it's going to be the savior of things. But I'm saying if you want to really say that you're independent as St. Kitts Nevis, then we would then have to have someone who represents the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and not an external
I agree with you.
monarchy.
I agree with you. And my suggestion for that as well, what I'm saying, when and if we do go republic, we should have an elected president as opposed to an appointed president.
I agree with you on that. I
And
agree
have
with
an
you on
elected
that.
president, and that's what I'm saying. To have
Yes.
an elected president, therefore, even you, Socrates, anybody who wants to be president, unless they put in a stipulation saying, most of the time, the president will have to have a minimum age. So they will say the age limit must be this. So, but as long as the person meets that requirement, anybody who wants to be president just put his or her name up. They don't have to be affiliated to a party.
We agree.
That's one of the advantages, as opposed to being appointed. Because when you come to
We
appointed
accept
now,
that, we accept
it
that.
rests in
We're
the
not
hands of the
challenging that at
party.
all.
Yeah.
It's really in the hands of the party. So that is why, for me, if we're going to be republic, I will prefer the president be elected as opposed to appointed. Because then, what we have happened now, no political party could control who come president. The voters will tell me who come president. You see the difference? So you could have many independent persons running to be president, as opposed to those people from an aligned party.
Anyway,
And that would be what I would recommend if we go to a republic. But I,
to clarify,
want us to go before we go is that the British government cannot dictate anything to us. And I just want us, even though, yes, we might feel that we're not fully independent, bear in mind, they cannot tell us to do anything. Who tell us what to do? The same conversation we have about with the SSSD and the people saying, no. There's who could tell our government what to do, because if they fail to do it, they could vote them out. And I want our people to understand
But
that.
with all due respect, I hear what you're saying,
sir.
but with all due respect, it seems to me in recent times, our government, not only here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but the Caribbean, they don't represent the people. It seems to me that whoever they sit with of external and who offers investment, it seems to me, and again I say it seems to me, and I'm sure perhaps Socrates might concur, that they lean towards them and we find ourselves compromised.
And my friend, that is why I put myself up for being politics. Because when I was president of the St. Kitts Nevis Taekwondo Federation, all of my chips was in the best interest of St. Kitts Nevis and the athletes and St. Kitts Nevis Taekwondo Federation. And I'm saying, based on experience on what I've seen through the years, the People's Action Movement always have the best interest of this country at heart. And that is why every time I come on the radio, I ask people to give the People's Action Movement that opportunity again to be the government of this nation. Because then we'll see some of the concerns we have will be quashed. Even a lot of things that we have concerns about. I don't want to come too much until the heart of the elections come out and come closer, And I want to make sure is our political leader have the charge going forward to bring the nation. But as one of the deputy political leaders and as a candidate for number 7, I want my constituency number 7 to know that I am there making sure we have good changes. We have our local businesses prospering in number 7, and I want it for the entire nation. I'm speaking for number 7 because I'm here, but I'm speaking for the nation in general. But for me, I will start in my constituency. And for when it comes to security, our even constituency borders, we want to put it that way because I believe in securing things. But I want to make sure our borders nationally are protected. And when I say nationally, it includes St. Kitts, Nevis, and the Booby Island to be protected. And that is why I'm calling on persons to give the People's Action Movement this opportunity.
And your town hall meeting will be at the OJ's building in Camps area, the top floor?
Yes, on the 13th of this month.
By the, the service
gas
station?
The gas station.
Right.
Yes.
So top floor of that green and white building, called OJ's building, okay? A Delta service station on the what date?
The 13th of this month.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution and for the information.
God bless you all. God bless St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course, God continues to bless constituency number 7 and prosper us. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. And we now pause for another station ID as we give credit to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
If his voice says you definitely have a lot to learn, as based on the one who going on in Federation, okay, you would have heard from Mr. David Pell, a candidate for the People's Action Movement, speaking about, their chances for the next election. I would like if Sister Henry can now reconnect with us, and I really would like to hear, not only myself, but the Federation would love to hear her take on the Destiny project that's been planned for her lovely island of Nevis. I know she's not on board with it, and we did agree on that comment that black people are selling out black people. It's been documented. For you to talk about, we're talking about white people coming in the country and white people coming, fellow, what you're doing is totally wrong. It's different to when we had to migrate to go to another white country, as you call it, the US and Europe. We now go back to the phone lines, they call your live on voices.
Greetings.
With respect.
Rastafari, leave it. Yes, nice political, scholarly debate you just had going on there, Pick up a thing I had to from that day,
Got to hear.
Yeah, it's a good reason, man. The Republic is like you own your own business, you own your own share, Yeah, to me that there's a better option, But anyway, when it comes to politics, I will always tell the people choose yourself, and that is why there's Rastafari. Rastafari is when you choose yourself. Because, you see, we got to look at the reason why God put man on earth. Did God put man on earth to be ruled by another man? You know what I mean? I don't think so, because when we look into nature, if a fowl get a chicken, you see, grow that chicken up to a certain age, and then he push it away.
That's correct.
Yeah, you have to go now and live its own life. You see it. So it's in the same way for mankind, you know what I mean? Because every man have a right to determine his own destiny. It's like your mission in life may not be the same mission as the Prime Minister, as who making the law. You know what I mean? Well, you must have the right to live your life what God put you on earth to live. You know what I mean? So these political system, it really the cause man to really ask some really deep questions. You know what I mean? Should man have the authority to control the next man's destiny? Because that is what I'm going, with this politics thing, People control people's destiny. You understand? Because just like we didn't like slavery, right? Because it's in a sense they determining our destiny. We are the ones who's supposed to rule our own destiny, not nobody else supposed to,
But here's
I
what.
ain't supposed to make no laugh for you.
Here's what.
You know what I mean? Yeah?
People normally form communities for the collective good of all.
Right.
Because there will be incidents where persons may want to infringe what is socially acceptable. They want to do their own thing. So within that thing, you see, I believe in the right, or things that you ought to do, not what you want to do. Things that you ought to do in developing a people, a country. Do the things that you ought to do, not what you want to do. So you must have that contract with the community that you will do abide by the lesser laws of that community that benefits everybody.
I agree with
right?
all of that.
But when a people back in the Bible, I forget the thing, said they wanted a king. That's how the whole construct came as far as.
Just tell them what you want a king for.
When they say want the king because there's some other people with kings, etc. And they decided they didn't want God to rule them, they wanted a king. So a king was appointed.
You see, so they didn't want to rule themselves, they want another man rule over them.
There you
and
go.
The father intention was for I and I to rule over I and I self, because I and I are king, within ourselves, we are
But what they're saying, we're not seeing you. We've seen the other poor people and the king. We're not seeing you. So we want the king.
Yeah, see, but it's just to show you, right, that this whole idea with man ruling over man, God not in agreement with that. This is man construct. This is how man get to like get ahead at the expense of other people.
Caller, as Socrates was saying, and I agree with him. I hear what you're saying, but what Socrates was saying is that even though we don't want this where you have an individual ruling over you, as Socrates was saying, our culture says that there was a community of the elders, and when something happened, you went to the elders who were wise men and women who had gone through life experiences and who could send down a verdict or decision that would appease the community, and the community felt comfortable. Unfortunately, we've gone this route where we have these individuals who are political and they get themselves a label that is PAM or Labour or whoever, and it doesn't seem as if though they're following the trend of our elders in terms of a community or society governing what happens within it. That is what
I'm saying.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying. It's like the nature of what we have today. Is for example, governance today. 'Cause governance is not domination, you know.
Yes, I
We're
agree.
talking about governance.
Yes.
But what we've been experiencing is domination.
Yeah.
People want to lead people to dominate your life.
And the
You know what I mean?
corruption.
You don't have the right to say, well, I want this, I don't want that. You must have them right there.
The corruption that accompanies it.
Yeah.
But you see, what I'm trying to show the eye forward now is the system in which we come up in. We come up in this Westminster system which come out of slavery.
We adopted the British parliamentary system.
Which come out of the slavery, because I'm sure, you know...
That didn't come out of slavery.
Now,
That helped to govern slavery. It didn't come out of slavery.
okay, so I'm trying to... But what I'm talking about us, for us, we come out of slavery, right? We adapt that they're coming out of slavery, right? And with that deal...
It was given to us.
I understand what he means, Socrates. What he's saying is what you're saying too, right? But you're saying it differently, right? But what he's saying is when we came out of slavery or out of being enslaved, which is what Socrates is trying to lean towards, we were not really...
It was
Yes.
it is another construct
Yes,
of slavery.
Yes.
It was a system.
So what he's saying, Socrates, is that when we came out of that, we chose to adopt what was oppressing us. That is what he's saying.
You weren't given a choice.
Yeah, we had no choice. Yeah, we had to do
You were
it.
not given a choice.
Because remember, you know, the government was the white people,
Yeah.
right? And then as they moved back to the land of origin, black people start to fill the offices,
Yeah.
right? So ain't nothing else changed, because when we elect our politician them, right? When we elect the politician them, they are not our politician, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
They form the government for the British
They represent the
monarchy.
crown.
Yeah.
They
Because the governor general, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is like, we getting caught up in that, so we need to create something for ourselves. That is why, you know what I mean? I kind of like the idea what Virgin them down in the Sahel state is doing, because they're trying to create something that is of them, of the culture,
Yes, yeah.
that is beneficial for them. Now, this system we're in is not something set there to benefit we.
No.
It's something set there to control
To
we.
maintain.
Yes.
Even beyond slavery. So watch here.
And Carla, that is what I've been saying all the time. That is why people might get irritated, but that's what I keep saying. When we elect, let's say, for instance, Pam get into power. Whoever gets into power, it's not going to happen overnight, but they have to meticulously start one by one eliminating these oppressive laws and implementing, as you're suggesting, things that benefit us. You understand? For instance, imagine still in this day and age, you say that you're legalizing marijuana and you're still charging people. We're still hearing cases where you're charging people for marijuana, which supposed to be a choice of the individual. The person ain't kill nobody. The person ain't rape nobody. The person choose to pick a plant and use it for their own benefit, and you're still imprisoning them. because you hold on to a system that, as you stated, and Socrates, and I concur, you're holding on to a system that was there to oppress us, and you're continuing it.
See, and that's why I say we need to control our destiny. We don't rule our destiny. You know what I mean? Our destiny is determined by our farmer enslavers. You know? So this is, and we don't pass emancipation, you know? So, I mean, you don't know, right? But sometimes I don't really want to what we are dealing with, because what emancipation mean?
Well, that's a good
If
question.
we understand the meaning of emancipation and really is to live it out, we won't be in this stage where we're in today. When we say we're independent, we're really independent. It's just because we have emancipated ourselves. That's what Bob said, you know. It's only we could do that, you know. Ain't nobody else can come and emancipate our mind from all of these things we're being through. You know. We have to do that. We have to make that determination for ourselves.
But
and we
Carla,
are not doing that.
but that's it. That is what the question I was going to ask you. If it is we, why don't we do it? Why don't we?
We're not doing. You know, we have the power to do it. You know, but you see, now we so conditioned to the comfort and the convenience that the system.
Let me stress an example, please. Let me stress.
We're prepared to break from it. We ain't willing. We won't break from it so easily.
Let me
stress
an example, and this is quite apropos. Over in Nevis last week, there was a town hall meeting to discuss this Destiny project that the government or the NAA wants to bring to Nevis. In the town hall meeting, the people gave a resounding no. The people said no. The people's voice was heard. But they had already gone ahead and legislated. And they're going full speed ahead with the project against the wishes of the people. So what are the people do? Stand up again, demonstrate again because they said no. By showing you the contempt by which certain people feel they can hold the people.
But Socrates, even to strengthen your point, in that very same town hall where we heard the people say no, we heard Mark Brantley say just after they said no, the ayes have it.
I didn't hear the part.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the part.
Yeah. So, and then when he further went on, you could hear voices in there saying, well, he was trying to validate it and says, saying that the people wanted what they were pushing, and you heard voices in there. If you go back to you hear people saying, all of the voices them what just tell you no. You hear people saying that in the background. So the contempt, as you were suggesting, you hear the people say no, but you're in your unmitigated gall and arrogance, you stand in front of them and say the ayes have it, which
money
is different
pass.
too.
Some serious money pass.
But dig this, right? I always wonder who won the island who the island them belong to. Because if I don't believe the island belong to us, our government ain't buying no island. Maybe buy the planting lots them from the planters, but not the island. So the island still is the British property.
Well, they still call them the crown. They still call them crown lands, even though we're independent.
So watch you, may I show you. These British monarchy got friends also, money friends. So when the money friends decide they want a piece of the island, right? The man just call up the Prime Minister or whoever and tell him, yo, so to come in. And no matter what the people say, can't change nothing because they don't get the green light from the British monarchy, come from the crown, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you just have to go through. You don't have to follow the proper procedure and nothing. These people have to get the land.
And as we indicated last week, once the IMF and the World Bank are involved in that, they have perfected the system of exploiting people. They know the players. So long before they come here, they don't study, well, this is that person, this is that person, and we could bribe that person, and they will work on them. They take them overseas, they wine and dine them, and come back with, hey, we have a big, brand new shiny object. Look at it.
And these are the things that we got free ourselves from. Is we have to do that for ourselves, you know, because they are not going to do that. Watch here. There was a video some time ago, right, on the media with this white man. I don't know, maybe English, you know, and he's saying that they're going to recolonize Africa because Africans then can't govern, and you know what I mean? So I see them make a move down in the Western Cape in South Africa to say, well, try make the part independent of the whole of the Africa, you know what I mean? And I guess throughout Africa they're doing the same thing, but trying to hold plots of land where they can do their own thing and maybe like start to rule again. Which you know, even with all this digital world that actually bring on now, right? Is colonization all over again.
Yes, it is.
You understand? Because this is their thing, you know. This is not our thing. Since we find ourselves in the thing at a disadvantage. Because how much of us know about this digital business what I bring? Not too much of us, right? So it gives them the leeway to really like have the control, have the handle, you know what I mean? And it's like, why just madness, you know? And I just say to our people, well, wake up, you know?
But caller, here, caller, I disagree with you that we are not aware of this digital thing. This digital thing, if you do the history, we invented it. Unfortunately, though, this is the problem. We invent certain things, and because they have X amount of money, they weaponize it and push it against us. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
I know the more in terms of the technology. You know what I mean? The way ahead of us.
No, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, all of the technology, mathematics, algorithms, the different languages
they created, they hijack it and weaponize it because they have finance.
For instance, most of the websites, Forbes and all these websites that you see all around the place, do research and see who are designing most of them. Black people.
Yeah, but I'm saying on an average, they're more advanced. See,
you keep saying, no, here's the mistake you make, and Socrates just said it. They weaponize this everything. They take something that is supposed to be good and they weaponize it so that they can oppress the masses with it, even their own people. Because if you look at what is happening in Europe right now, you'll realize the European people, not the governments, the European people are realizing that they have been duped by their own politicians, and they are rebelling.
Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? It's digital world, right?
Not to cut you off, Not to cut you off, but we've enjoyed the conversation. You got some great points, but we have to make another pause for station ID, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So get back in a little while. We can continue.
Finish your point.
Yeah, what I'm saying, the digital world is just a continuation from the development of Europe then, you know what I mean?
No, you have it wrong.
Yes, I remember telling you, you know, the digital idea is the European man who bringing that there. He's who pushing that. See? It's not the African man pushing that.
If you study, the reason why we can have computers all over the world massively doing massive amounts of information and disseminate it in a matter of seconds is because of a black individual. Fiber optics, fiber optics, which is the foundation for how the information is carried around the world, a black woman. So I am saying...
The point you're missing, Quinn, right? A black man invents everything that is beneficial in this world, right? We are the inventors, right?
That's what I'm saying.
For the benefit. What I'm saying, it was the white man's desire for these things. You understand? Our thing, remember, you know, we are the gods and goddesses of the earth, you know, right? We know all of these things, but yet we didn't pursue these things because these are the things, you know, we're going to pollute the world.
No, we pursue them. We pursue them.
No, we didn't pursue them. We pursue the gods.
You see,
we as a human being, we need to start to know about ourselves as a human being. You know what I mean? We know nothing about ourselves as a human. Everything we know is outside us.
I would
not. The African way is the inside.
Caller, I don't want us to be arguing at one another. I hear what you're saying, but what I want you to understand is we pursue these things because it is within us. All of the mathematics and the genius to come up with the fiber optics, and so it is within us. And when you put us in a forum where we can study and compete with anyone else, it naturally comes out but when it comes out, as Socrates has said, when it comes out, they see it and they say, oh, and they weaponize it to use it as a system of control. That is what we're saying.
I can leave it there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good, sir.
Yes.
From the South, 98.9.
This November and December, it's triple the fun at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Shop on hire purchase during our triple cashback season and get triple cashback coupons for free groceries. Plus, a chance to spin the wheel to win every Friday.
Join Sugar Bowl live in store as 3 lucky customers each week spin for fabulous prizes. From flat screen TVs and small appliances to housewares, free groceries, and much, much more.
It's excitement, rewards, and comfort rolled into one. Triple the cashback, triple the prizes, triple the fun. Only at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Hosford's, where style, comfort, and savings live.
At 34 minutes past the hour, well, we're pushing to midday. We may have lost a caller. And I'm still hopeful to hear from Sister Henry as we go to the phone lines, but they call you live on Voices.
Socrates, it's me again.
Yes.
Like I said, current gone in the area since 10, so I don't know what has been said. Okay?
Skellig, give us a call.
Yeah, so let me just call back in with what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
No, in my call, I did not, something you asked me and I did not answer it I did not answer it accurately.
What was the question?
I did not answer it the way I should have.
What was the question?
And I'm gonna answer. You asked about the eye for eye and tooth for tooth passage. When I read that passage, okay? Now it is about the punishment must fit the crime. Okay, it shouldn't be less and it shouldn't be more than what the crime is. So in other words, it shouldn't be a hand for eye for a tooth, or tooth for a foot. You know, should be eye for eye, hand for hand. Punishment and crime ought to be equal. And I understand that passage to be saying yes, life for life. But if you willfully or intentionally chop off a man's hand, your hand should be chopped off as well. If you intentionally knock out a man's tooth or teeth, yours should be knocked out as well. You intentionally willfully burn somebody, you should be burnt likewise.
We got the gist.
And so on and
we
so
got
on.
the gist of it, yeah.
Yes. So that is how I should have answered that question, because the crime and the punishment must be equal. None should be less or more than the other.
We accept
One
that.
shouldn't be more or less than the other. And let me also say, the Bible also tells the courts of men that where crime is concerned, as the Bible tells us what crime is and what the punishment are, the Bible tells the court of man, you should not have any mercy in punishing crime. Do it as the Bible says it should be done and what the Bible says should be done. Not more, not less, and do not show any mercy when it comes to the civil courts punishing criminals. Okay? And lastly, I would also like to say, when the Bible says, forsake not the gathering of yourselves, forsake not the assembling or gathering of yourself, it did not mean churches that are playing games with the Bible. It did not mean churches that are pastored by worthless vagabond pastors. It meant churches that are serious with the Bible, operating according to the Bible, and interpreting the Bible correctly and properly.
Okay, then.
Those are the only churches that passage meant. So I would just like to call back in and say those things as in addition. Thank you very much.
Okay, before you go, because if you have a call on the line, I'm looking for Sister Henry. Okay, get a chance, weigh in on the abolition of capital punishment, as we know the St. Kitts, where Talbot was the name of the gallows, where they would sentence you to death by hanging, barring the appeal process. You had to appeal within 21 days. Barring that, if it came against you, they would execute you by hanging. So the remark he made about the exacting the justice, it must fit the crime, etc., 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 etc. And it was actually abolished here. I don't know if it was officially abolished, but Amnesty International made a case throughout the region that they should stop that, do away with that. And so it has not been practiced in the Federation for some time.
And that's one of the things that I can't understand why our leaders seem to lack spine. And when they see
sign
things,
on to these conventions when we go overseas, we don't come back and tell our people. In order to get aid from those like World Bank, that's their position. We go overseas and we sign on to these conventions. I mentioned last week, taking discipline out to the school, that was part of the condition of getting certain aid.
you see, when they were in control, they executed because they didn't want to have to feed you.
Right.
But when you're in control, they know this is going to add to your tax burden and all of that kind of legal proceedings and all that kind of
Here's
stuff.
what. So, in 1834, right? 1834, they claimed that slavery was abolished. When did they build the prison? Shortly after.
Yeah.
To contain what they saw was criminality and to legally execute people who rebelled against the system.
Yeah.
So it was all part of our.
And they do it in the American justice system,
Right.
where Bush and them came up and they say the war on drugs, but the war on drugs was to build prisons
That
and
was
make prisoners.
Bush first, and then when Reagan came on, declared war on drugs, etc.
You understand? And it was to make prison a business. Prison became a business.
It is.
You look at how prison became a business. You take a desert area. This is what happens, history shows it. They take a desert area. Nobody's living there. They put a massive prison there. Watch what happens in a year to 2 years. Next thing, the prison is there. People come to work in the prison for cleaning. People come to be wardens and whatnot. Next thing, communities build up around that because your family is going to come there and live. And that's how they build
It's a
their
business,
whole
yeah.
system. Yeah. You have a caller.
Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Good day, Mr. Moderator. How are you doing?
I'm counting my blessings. Yourself?
All right. I'm doing the same thing.
Here you go.
I am calling in regards to this SSZ.
Special Sustainability Zone. Yes, go ahead.
That the Prime Minister and the Premier of Nevis want and are fighting to bring upon the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are here where we are at this point because of the dishonesty of the Premier of Nevis. He was doing his utmost best to hide this settlement, no development, this settlement from the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. When he was confronted about it, he put it down to a rumor. He did not know what was going on.
Yeah, I remember that.
Even though his wife is a major player in all of this. As far as I'm concerned, the Premier was the biggest player, and his wife was next in line. He wants to reverse it upon us and say he knew nothing about it. His wife was involved, but he didn't know what his wife was doing. Not even a fool will believe that. Now, Sako, they went to Parliament and they passed this legislation. After the legislation is passed, the first thing that Dr. Drew did is try to disassociate himself from it and saying, leave he out of anything to do with Nevis lands. When the truth is, this matter has to be signed off by him. He has his final say. So I do not say he could have resolved himself. in very recent times, he's saying that he would have passed law for this particular zone to be on the island of Nevis. But he wants to make us believe he do not know nothing about the development. Okay? So let us go back inside the middle. Because there's a whole other thing here to consider. One, I don't have any land in the zone, but I have people who speak to me about having land in the zone. And they're saying when they were
approached
to sell their land, they were asked the realtor, which is the premier's wife, what do you want the land for? Her response, I can't tell you. Who are the investors who want the land? I cannot tell you. When they were purchasing these lands, and they got some, they never told the people what they wanted this land for, what type of development it is. That's
deception.
Deception of the highest order.
And we must clarify that she's a real estate developer. She has a company that buys and sells. Right.
Okay. And she is, as far as we know up to this moment, her real estate company is the only real estate company that is connected to this deal.
Involved in the project?
Okay?
So that's inside trading. You know about it. So you cannot expect rational people to believe that he's unaware of that development.
But that's what he said. He said he did not know what his wife was doing. He did not sit down and discuss this matter with his wife when the matter broke. So he tried to pull himself out. And let us say this. It took approximately 3 weeks to a month after he was approached and he denied. And he claimed that he knew nothing about it. For this bill to go into Parliament, had its first reading, eventually had its second and third reading and passed into law. But the Premier knew nothing about it. The Attorney General, when asked, well, first of all, when the Premier asked about the putting together of this legislation, drafting of it, he said that he had nothing to do with it as the Premier of Nevis. When you asked the Attorney General, he laughed all over his face and then indicated that it was drafted in his office. When pushed again about it, he said that he had some input from Nevis, but not directly from the Premier, but from the legal department, who the legal department is working for. So the Attorney General lied, the Premier lied, and the Prime Minister is now lying to the people of Nevis. So here come the big things I quote. We listened to the Prime Minister argued that Dr. Drew gave CBI receipts to allow 25,000 thereabout persons to become citizens of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, of 53,000 people. To him, it was a travesty. It was treasonous for that to happen.
Caller. Could you repeat the numbers of the last numbers that you outlined there in terms of people?
The Prime Minister saying that the former Prime Minister Harris gave receipts to investors, people coming in, to the tune about 25% of the population of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? Then he calls it treasonous. Okay? It was outrageous. Now, in Nevis, which has just about 13,000 people, we are told about 13 and a half, with an electorate that is less than 8,000 people, the Prime Minister is in support of the Premier of bringing in 7,000 to 10,000 people to inhabit that particular zone. And the Prime Minister do not see anything wrong with that. It was outrageous and treasonous for half of the population to be given citizenship, to be citizens of the country. But we're talking about here almost about 80%.
That is correct.
Of those who are going to be coming in, going to be about 80% of the population of Nevis.
To take up residence.
To take up residence.
That's the important
And
part there.
The Prime Minister sees nothing wrong with it. He's still telling us that this is good for the Federation.
Do you know why?
Let us go a little further. The legislation says that the developers will aim to develop 70% of their energy. They're going to have their support. They're going to have their customs and whatnot. But now you're hearing the Premier of Nevis saying that that has changed. And he's negotiating now with the developers or the investors or the inhabitants, whatever you want to call it, to no longer invest in a port for themselves, but to develop a Long Point port. He is negotiating with them not to pursue their own energy, but to join us in the second phase for the production of geothermal on the island of St. Kitts and Nevis. They were going to have their own
port
medical facility. Now you're teaming up with them to help you to expand and to develop your healthcare industry.
So the question then, caller, when you put that kind of capital into a product, who owns it?
The developers, the investors.
Okay.
Because it's not only that, the Premier is saying to us, and they're saying that they're going to invest in the infrastructure development of Nevis. So they're going to come in, according to them, they're going to buy the land, so they're going to own the land. And then they are going to own the country. And then the Premier of Nevis and the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis want to make us to believe that without this particular settlement, St. Kitts and Nevis cannot survive. And so they have made up their mind that they are going to sell out Nevis, and by extension, St. Kitts and Nevis, because St. Kitts and Nevis cannot survive without this development. It means that Dr. Joe and Mark Blanty have failed us as a country. Since our independence, since the terrible time that we faced, and we came through that, where we were the apple of the Caribbean, everybody's looking at us. And we are now at a point where we cannot survive without selling out our country and giving the power in our country into the hands of libertarians. It means Dr. Joe has failed us, and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis need to vote him out of office. As a matter of fact, he should not go that far. He should resign.
Consider this. The architect of the land for debt swap is a key player in this.
Yes.
Because we're hearing that a similar project is being planned for the Whitegate area.
Yeah, the Whitegate is popping up again.
When it's convenient, they speak about what Mr. Bratchett did in trying to reclaim the land from the plantocracy. But then they go and they find themselves entrapped with the IMF. They have to make a deal to collateralize the lands of St. Kitts and Nevis because they have so much indebted. So this pilot project, and let me call it a pilot project for St. Kitts and Nevis because it has been done elsewhere. They're trying to replicate it here. Nevis is the first stage. Right? We're looking at 9 years.
Where has it been done?
In Honduras, those places there.
And what is happening in Honduras right now?
They're trying to pressure them because the people are kind of fight back against it. So they're trying to pressure them through banking.
Because the people in Honduras were unaware.
Correct.
And just like we were supposed to be unaware until after the fact. Fortunately, we are unaware.
You don't get the town hall meeting after you've gone and legislated it.
Yeah, Tulu, go ahead.
Right?
Okay, then we get back here. Now, look into St. Kitts. Dr. Joe is in St. Kitts boasting and posting all over that he is giving people the right to own lands because land is power. And then Dr. Joe is joining with Mark to encourage the people of Nevis to give up their power, to to sell off their power for little or nothing to their investors who they want to come into colonizer. So in some cases, people should own land. But in Nevis, people who own land should give up their rights to those lands and put them into the hands
But
of
look,
colonizer, as far as I'm calling.
look at the person who went initially to buy the land from the owners and the reception.
Right.
Look at the person who were instrumental initially in going to divest the people of the land on the subterfuge. When asked, so what's the land for? I don't know, or I can't tell you. So they knew. So Dr. Dewey is complicit in falling into the entrapment by Mark Brantley. Whatever he sees or his own courage, he did not initiate it. He did not. And maybe he felt it was a good thing for Nevisians, but now that all the things is coming up, but he must know he said it on to in the first place.
I agree.
You are right. Dr. Joe has found himself locked up in a bed with Mark Brantley. That he is a stooge for Mark, and whatever he wants, Mark is going to get. The reason for this, Dr. Joe is having a one-seat majority. He knew what happened to to Douglas when Douglas came down. He knew that inside his cabinet there are factions inside here. And he's telling himself, if one turn on me, I have 3 in Nevis and Mark Brantley.
I see. This is deep.
So Mark Brantley has the
strings now to manipulate.
Has the handle, and Joe has the blade in his hand. And so he has to do everything. Let us go back to the legislation. The legislation was passed. Mark Brantley now making the rounds and saying that he's not going to discuss anything to do with the legislation. Why? Because that is a federal matter. So any problem that you have with the legislation, throw the blame and place your argument at Dr. Drew's feet.
Mm-hmm.
But he was, caller, he was saying that a long time ago, and I tried to draw that to the people's attention, and I tried to tell the federal cabinet. That's way back before we knew that it was passed. Because Mark was making that very same statement, and I tried to tell the federal cabinet, leave this alone, let it die. But it seemed as if though they had their other motives, and now it is backfiring.
You have to give him what he wanted. People need to understand that out of this deal, the Brantley family stands to make millions of dollars in them. Not with the people. His family stands to make millions of dollars. Okay? And so it is in there for him and his best interest. Now let us look at the developers.
We have about 5 more minutes, so you're going to have to make your point within that time. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to take that. The developers said that for a long time, they were looking for a place where they could set up the first libertarian country in the world. For some time, since back in 2017, they were looking, and maybe before, beyond that. They said that they were surprised to see how many governments quickly agreed for them to come because they offer them lots of money. And he spoke, the person who spoke on behalf of the developers said, we are not going to reveal yet who has signed up and who they have guarantees with. Inside of the agreement, the investors said that they are buying up lots of land for this zone, and that they have negotiated with the government what is going to take place inside that zone, because they are the ones who set the rules of the game, and the rule of the game will be followed.
Okay.
So when the Attorney General is saying to us that he crafted the law, the developers are saying we are the ones who set the rules of the game. And they said that minimal government will be inside that zone.
Up front.
Okay? They're going to have their own security. Go ahead, bro.
Up front, they're telling you that.
Up front, it is there. Minimal government. They said government should be rejected, and you should see government with the same way you see rapists and murderers. Government are oppressive. That is what they're saying. So they don't want any government inside there of any kind. They're going to settle their own stuff. They told you that up front. Okay? They're telling you what they want, but what is there? The owners are saying to us that we must look at the zone not as an economic zone, but as a private homeowners association.
Apartheid.
So while Joe and Mark is telling us there's lots of jobs inside, it's going to be a business hub, the homeowners, the investors are telling you that you must see this thing as a private homeowners association. The last thing I'm going to touch it as an division. The investor is saying to us that the people who think it's a Nevis does not need to be afraid because the talk is about there that we will not be able to go into this zone as we like.
We don't want to go in there.
We should not be afraid because we will be allowed to visit. And that is very important.
Allowed to visit.
In your own country, they're coming in to set up their zone with the endorsement of Mark Brantley and Dr. Drew. And the investor is telling us that we will be allowed to visit.
Apartheid.
Even if we are welcome into the zone and we can do business in the zone, he said we'll be allowed to visit. So we'll be tourists.
Okay.
In our own country, in our own island.
Okay. Unfortunately, with all the information that you're giving us, we are at 11:49. We have to come to the end of today's presentation of Voices. I hope you can find other platforms to really share that information with the public because knowledge is power, and you're giving us a lot to really digest. So we want to thank you for that, but we do have to wrap up right about now.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity, my brother.
You're so very welcome.
Right.
Okay, and you have been heard on Voices. Very, very important discussion. And unfortunately, he got in at that point in time after this program. So we would like to invite him back, even in the studios, as a matter of fact. You have a standing invitation to come to the studios of WinnFm, speak with another presenter. Q will be here. Okay, if you want to come by next Monday, I'm here from 10 until midday. We can give you the mic and we can better educate and inform us because a lot of folks don't have that information and the way we present it is so very important. So we come to the end of today's presentation of Voices. So all the viewers and listeners, thank you for being part of this. And hopefully, God's willing, we can have a next session next Monday. In the meantime, we wish you peace, love, and bag of sugar. Much better tomorrow.
You found the